It is February the 17th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec site. And we got news yesterday evening that the cutting had been suspended. We understand that the offshore side of the rig was showing wear on the cable system and had to be replaced. So, what we've got now is the VB10,000 has been separated from the Golden Ray. The straps have been loosened. It's been backed off away from the ship. We think this is probably in an effort to speed up the reeving process of changing out that cable on those reel systems. You can imagine it's quite a bit of cable that makes up that system. So here we go. This is the same process, I guess, but on a different side from what they went through just about a week ago. And we're down for, I think it was 4 days when that happened. The difference being when that one was changed, the VB was not moved. It stayed in position over the ship. So here we have it now. It's been disconnected. I guess crews will work to get those lines straightened or changed out on the reels. And then we're going to have to reposition the VB back over the ship before cutting operations can begin again. And we're still working on that seventh section, that contains that massive diesel engine. And it has just given the guys a fit out there. This section has pretty much had them snake bit. And we've seen broken chains, slow progress, and more difficulties with maintenance on the VB10,000. Maybe we'll see some sort of change on the way that they're going to tackle this cutting, just because it just looks like the progress has been so slow and just really kind of painful to watch. Well, we got some responders here. They were working on, not sure if this is the cable that's being spooled up, but we saw those guys out on the VB today working away. We don't really see those guys on deck that much while cutting operations are going on. We got a quick glimpse of those guys out there today. As far as the cutting, that's about all we've got for today. And we're probably not going to see anything happen again for another 4 to 5 days. We'll still monitor the site and look for other things that are going on. We know they still have the removal operation they've been working on that. It's been slow just because more and more difficulty in getting to those vehicles that are deeper into the ship. But we'll continue to monitor that and see what happens. Well, next up, we've got my Uncle Ernie, Ernest Jones. He's going to be with us, and he's going to talk about the Minorcans, for those of you that are interested. Hey, welcome to the Minorcan Mullet channel. I'm Andy, and I've got a special guest here today. I've got my Uncle Ernest Jones, Uncle Ernie, and Uncle Ernie has done a tremendous amount of work for Minorcan heritage research. He has been, I guess if he had to count the number of graveyards that he's been to and the research that he's done, looking into the history of the Minorcans, and they are coming to the New World and how they kind of migrated into the city of St. Augustine. And we've got him here today, and he's going to give us a little synopsis about how it happened and how the Minorcan heritage came to find its way into the southeastern part of the United States. Welcome, Uncle Ernie.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Minorcans?
Minorcans are good people. They came here with a fellow named Turnbull. He was a doctor. Him and some partners had some plantation land in Florida, and he'd heard that the people from that part of the Mediterranean were good workers during the summer. So he loaded up a boatload of them, 3 boatloads of them actually, and brought them to America.
All right, when they came here, When those people came here, was there anything when they made landfall in, I guess, what it was New Smyrna, where they or close?
Named after his wife.
Okay. When they got there, was there anything there?
No.
They got off the boat with shovels and machetes and said, "It's over there, guys."
He did. He Turnbull told them that they had a place for them to live. And when they got there was no place to live. So their first job was to build themselves shelter.
I guess up until that time, they were probably living under poinsettia or palmetto huts or on the ship or.
Best they could do. Ships. I don't know. I imagine ships probably left. Their job was not maybe done by then.
Well, we know that they made a go of trying to get this plantation in New Smyrna viable, and that lasted for a number of years.
9 years.
9 years, and then they threw their hands up and said, "That's it."
Yeah. Well, the Turnbull told them it was good. They had a place for them to live and all this sort of good stuff, and he didn't have any of that. So the first thing they had to do was build their own homes when they got there, and they were working as indentured servants. And the master of the servants was not very kind to them, and they had a rough life for 9 years. And they finally had enough of that, and they got together and picked 2 of them to walk to St. Augustine and to talk to the governor of St. Augustine, which was good for them because the governor of St. Augustine didn't like Turnbull anyway.
Well, there you go.
So he was working on their side from the beginning. And he told them to go back and bring all the Minorcans to St. Augustine.
So they go to St. Augustine. They talk, and I'm assuming at that time the city of St. Augustine is
a lot smaller than it is today.
Probably behind the original gates of the city that people may be familiar with that have visited.
Yep, that was mostly vacant lot because that's where he told them the Minorcans to go settle, was up close by the gate.
Okay, so but they go back to New Smyrna and get that contingency of folks that are there, have had enough, and then they make the trek from it. I'm assuming there was no I-95 at the time.
Probably nothing but woods, I would imagine.
I can imagine that was a pretty rough hike.
I would think they probably walked that 70 miles.
So they made it back to City of St. Augustine. City of St. Augustine opened the gates to them, and that's how the Minorcan heritage, as most people know it, came to be established into the city of St. Augustine.
That's correct.
That's actually the second place that they made a home. The first place being in the wilderness of New Smyrna. That's very interesting. I guess, and then after that happened, their indentured servitude to Turnbull's over with, and they're free Spanish citizens.
Well, when they left Turnbull's, they didn't all go to St. Augustine. Some of them split off and went in other directions.
Okay.
I don't know which all directions they went, but you can imagine they probably went to Tampa and places like that, and maybe down the southern coast of Florida.
Okay. But the
majority
of them went to St. Augustine. I'm guessing, just in my mindset, they're thinking, "Hey, this is an established city, a place that we can go to where at least there's some semblance of civilization, like we may have known in the past before we were kind of shanghaied into
going with Turnbull."
Going with Turnbull. So, as the history unfolds in St. Augustine, and that Minorcan heritage continues to grow, most people associate St. Augustine with the Minorcan heritage and where that all that
down there too.
Right. Not necessarily the case. We learned that they came from New Smyrna, but from there it seems like over the years the families have begun to spread out and like I guess us made it up into Georgia. And
our family made it to Mayport,
Florida.
There for a long time, and then my parents came up here from Mayport.
It's just hard, I guess, to get them to move. They really associate, and then you can kind of understand the draw to the water, to the ocean. That being, they came from islands to start with, and they had to be pretty, I guess, skilled with fishing, net making, all those kind of things that would make living in a coastal area much easier
for them.
Yeah, at the time. That's very interesting. As the years have gone on now. You've told me a little bit about some history of the St. Augustine Lighthouse, and in particular, one of the first female Coast Guard people was at the lighthouse of St. Augustine.
Yeah, she was married to the lighthouse keeper, and he fell from a bosun's chair, died, and they named her the lighthouse keeper.
And so she becomes part of the Coast Guard operation. I shouldn't say manning at this point, but they were she was staffing the lighthouse.
Well, if I understand, she had to be in the Coast Guard, so that's how she wound up in the Coast Guard.
That's interesting. Wow, a lot of family history right there.
Yeah,
it's just really amazing to see, and I guess that was kind of done. Hard times, need somebody. She was familiar with the job, kind of fit right in, and they said, take it and run.
You know what to do.
Well, you know, the channel, I've adopted the name Minorcan Mullet for the boat and for the channel, mainly because it's got a really nice ring, but the history part of it is pretty neat too.
Good, yes, it is.
Yeah, that is pretty special. Well, I'd like to thank you for being on the channel today and maybe sharing some of this insight into the Minorcan heritage for some of our viewers on the channel. I'd like to thank y'all for joining us. We've got more to come. Hey, really appreciate you guys sticking with the channel and being part of this thing with us. We ask if you're just joining us and you haven't done it yet, click that subscribe button for us. Feel free to send us some comments. We love getting those. And most of all, we want you guys to stay safe.